The battlefield echoes with the clash of steel and the roar of men at war. A lone warrior stands amidst the chaos, his face obscured by a helmet, his eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. With every swing of his sword, a life is taken, and yet none can withstand his wrath. But as the dust settles and the screams subside, whispers begin to spread of a terrible curse that follows this mighty warrior, a curse that turns victory into tragedy and triumph into damnation. He is known only as the Cursed Warrior, and his legend has become a tale of terror whispered around campfires in hushed tones, a reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers are those we cannot see or understand. Join us today as we delve into the chilling lore of the cursed warriors whose very presence brought misfortune and ruin upon those around them. From ancient tales of mythical beasts to the darkest corners of human history, these are the stories of 5 cursed warriors who were feared more than death itself. Number 5. The Black Prince. In the tapestry of medieval England, few figures loom as large and terrifying as Edward, the Black Prince. Born into the royal lineage of the Plantagenets, Edward's life was destined to be one of privilege and power. But from the moment he drew breath, a dark cloud seemed to hang over him, shaping his destiny in ways both tragic and cruel. The origins of the Black Prince's curse can be traced back to his very birth, an event that was anything but a cause for celebration. When Edward first entered the world, he was marked with an ominous physical deformity, a twisted left hand that set him apart and foretold a future fraught with misfortune. This physical peculiarity was not merely a physical anomaly. It was a sign, a branding from the forces of darkness that would forever tarnish his reputation and the lives of those connected to him. His royal parents, deeply troubled by this macabre omen, wasted no time in seeking a way to counteract the perceived ill fortune that had befallen their newborn son. In a desperate bid to alter Edward's fate, they spared no expense in amassing an exorbitant sum of 10,000 marks, a staggering amount in medieval England, and entrusted it to a trio of so-called holy men, a desperate gamble that foreshadowed the tragic trajectory of his life. As the years passed, Edward grew, but the curse of his twisted hand only intensified. Despite being a legitimate heir to the throne, his claim was constantly challenged by those who saw his deformity as proof of his cursed lineage. The Black Prince became a symbol of fear and uncertainty, a living embodiment of the adage that sometimes birth is indeed a curse rather than a blessing. Number 4. Vlad the Impaler. Born into the aristocratic family of Wallachia in 1431, Vlad's early life was marked by privilege and opportunity. However, his path to power was overshadowed by a series of events that would brand him with the mark of darkness forever. At the tender age of 12, Vlad found himself entangled in a horrifying ordeal when Ottoman forces invaded his homeland and seized him along with several other nobles as captives. For the next 6 years, Vlad was held captive in the heart of the Ottoman Empire, enduring unimaginable horrors that would leave an indelible stain on his soul. The brutal reality of his captivity was not merely about confinement, it was a systematic process of cultural erasure and psychological torment. Vlad was forced to convert to Islam, shedding his Christian faith in exchange for survival. He was circumcised, a painful and traumatic experience that severed him from his cultural roots and served as a potent symbol of his subjugation. But the depths of his suffering were not limited to physical pain. Vlad was subjected to a calculated campaign of mental and emotional abuse designed to break his spirit and make him forget his former life. The Ottomans, with their sophisticated understanding of the human psyche, knew that true power lay in dominating not just the body, but also the mind. In 1991, archaeologist Paul Baracchieri unearthed a remarkable artifact in the ancient city of Smyrna, a small bronze mirror adorned with an inscription dating back to the 1st century AD. What made this mirror extraordinary was the inscription itself, a simple phrase that held the key to deciphering the enigmatic world of the ancient Greek warrior Xenophon. The inscription read, "The Companion of Achilles," offering a tantalizing clue to Xenophon's identity and his profound connection to the legendary hero Achilles. Through this inscription, Xenophon was revealed as the devoted companion of Achilles, a silent witness to the Trojan War's epic battles, and a keeper of the secrets that define the relationship between two of the most iconic figures in Greek mythology. The discovery of this mirror unveiled a deeper layer of the Trojan War's narrative, providing insight into the emotional and personal aspects of this monumental conflict. Xenophon's story, though largely untold in the traditional accounts of the war, becomes a compelling thread that weaves through the tapestry of heroism, loyalty, and sacrifice during one of history's most celebrated conflicts. Number 3, the Ronin of the Blood Moon. Emerging from the mists of Japanese history, the Ronin of the Blood Moon is a figure cloaked in mystery and awfulness. Little is known of his existence, but the tales surrounding him speak of a warrior so cursed that even his name has been lost to time. Some say he was once a samurai bound by the ancient Bushido code, but betrayed by his lord, leaving him without honor and purpose. Others whisper that he was a wandering swordsman, haunted by a past he desperately tried to escape. Whatever his origins, the Ronin of the Blood Moon became a force to be reckoned with. Driven by an insatiable thirst for vengeance, he embarked on a path of violence and destruction, leaving a trail of blood and despair in his wake. His sword became an instrument of swift retribution, striking fear into the hearts of his enemies and turning the tides of battle in his favor. But there was a terrible price to pay for wielding such immense power. For with every life he took, the Ronin of the Blood Moon became more consumed by darkness, his humanity slowly eroding under the weight of his own wrath. His skin took on an eerie pallor, his eyes burned with an infernal light, and a malevolent aura seemed to follow him everywhere he went. The villagers who once sought his aid now trembled at his approach, recognizing in him the harbinger of misfortune and ruin. The Ronin of the Blood Moon became a cautionary tale, a grim reminder that vengeance, no matter how righteous, could lead to damnation. And as the years passed, his legend only grew, becoming a specter that haunted the dreams of those unfortunate enough to cross his path. Number 2, Gilles de Rais. Born in 1404 in the bustling town of Poitiers, Gilles de Rais was not just any man. He was a warrior of uncommon skill, a nobleman of some standing, and a companion in arms of the legendary French military leader, Joan of Arc. Gilles played a pivotal role in France's historic victory at the Battle of Patay in 1429, an event that marked a turning point in the Hundred Years' War against the English. However, beneath this veneer of nobility and martial prowess lurked a darkness that would ultimately consume him. Following his military triumphs, Gilles de Rais fell on hard times. Battles won, he found himself stripped of his titles and reduced to the rank of a common soldier. This humiliating demotion led to a profound disillusionment within him, setting in motion a series of events that would forever tarnish his legacy. Desperate to regain his lost status and wealth, Gilles turned to a life of crime. He became a notorious highwayman, preying on the very people he had once protected, pillaging on villages and leaving a legacy of misery and fear in his wake. But as his fortunes turned, whispers began to circulate about a curse that followed him, a curse that seemed to amplify his misfortunes and twist his soul. Tales emerged of children disappearing near his haunts, their cries for help echoing into the night, only to be swallowed by the darkness. Soon, suspicion fell upon Gilles de Rais, and with it, the realization dawned that the curse he had perhaps unwittingly invited into his life had become far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Number 1, the Red Hand Knight. Shrouded in mystery, this formidable warrior was a sight to behold. clad in gleaming armor bearing the striking emblem of a crimson hand, a symbol both intriguing and foreboding. But the true horror lay not in his appearance, but in the chilling tales that accompanied his every move. Rumors swirled that the knight's touch brought misfortune and ruin, and those who crossed his path were doomed to suffer unimaginable tragedies. Some spoke of entire villages befalling illness and despair, their fields withering and their homes crumbling into ruin, all after a chance encounter with the Red Hand Knight. Others claimed that the knight's presence heralded the arrival of death, for wherever he went, loved ones were stricken with fatal maladies and perished in the prime of their lives. Fearful whispers painted a grim picture of a warrior who, instead of bringing justice and protection, seemed to be a harbinger of death and destruction. And as the tales of the Red Hand Knight's destructive path continued to spread, so did the terror he inspired. People cowered in their homes, dreading the day when his ominous shadow might fall upon their village, bringing with it the specter of loss and suffering. But beyond the superstition and fear, there may have been a kernel of truth, a hint of a curse that clung to the Red Hand Knight like a shroud. Perhaps there was a malevolent force at play, twisting his noble intentions into instruments of pain and misfortune. Or maybe the curse was nothing more than a reflection of the darkness that already existed in the world, a darkness that the knight, with his very presence, seemed to magnify and bring to the surface. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe for more echoes of the past.